Hello everyone, welcome there. Well, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Patches Metal, and this is going to be the very special New Year's episode.
1, 2, 3, 4. Patches Metal!
So guys, as I've already said in the previous video, this episode is going to be completely about 2013. The first year I started filming patches, the year a lot of things happened to me in my personal life, and the year a lot of things happened in the metal world. This first part of this episode, because I'm going to divide it into 3 parts. The first part, this one, is going to be about everything that just basically happened in the metal world, the metal community, things I've talked about in other videos, things I haven't talked about in other videos. Second part is going to be about my personal life, the reason I started patches, the reason for a lot of things that have been, you know, happening in my life, going on and stuff. And the third one is going to be just some kind of personal note I wanna put out to all of you guys out there. I've done it like this. I'm going to do it like this because it's easier, you know. You can pick whatever you want to listen to. If you don't want to listen to my recap of the year because you've already read 20 other top 10 lists, this and that, and all that kind of bullshit, you can just skip to the second part of this video. Or if you're not interested in my personal life, which is something I could also imagine, you can just watch this part and watch the third part, because out of everything you pick to watch, the third part is going to be the most important one to me, I guess. It's not going to be a very long part, but at least it's going to be the most personal one. However, to start off with part 1, let's go. So this first thing, however, is very important. I'm not going to put this list in any specific order. So it's not going to be from important to least important, or from the start of the year to the end of the year. It's just going to be naming all the things that stood out to me in the metal world that I just want to, you know, say a few things about. So also I'm not really going to do a very specific top 10 releases of this year, or the most important things, but it's just going to be things that I just want to, you know, say some things about sometimes for the first time, and yeah, that. Now, one of the things this year I was looking forward most to was the new Arion album. If anyone has seen my favorite band ever video, or I don't really quite remember what episode it was in, but I've talked a lot about Arion because it is, well, most probably the favorite band of mine, if not, you know, second or third favorite. I'm not really great at picking the favorite one, but Arion is pretty fucking high up on my list, and he was going to release a new album, and he kept releasing these small trailers, and in these trailers he would just, it was, at first it was like guess the artist, or guess the vocalist, guess the musician, whatever. And that's one of the greatest fucking ways ever to, you know, get people psyched for your album. Arion is one of the few, or not few bands, but, you know, one of those bands who have a lot of vocalists. Like, per album there are like 10 different vocalists in it, and he kept just playing a very small track of whatever they sung, and he was like, well guys, can you guess whoever this is? And usually everyone was like, oh, this is gonna be this dude, and he was like, fuck yeah. And you know, a few days later he would release the video of that dude indeed singing the vocals. So yeah, he got me really psyched with those kind of trailers. And then when the album was released, I have to honestly say I was a little disappointed. The thing is, I'm used from Arion that every track is amazing on its own. And even though he makes concept albums, in which like every song, where every song ends, the new one begins, and it all goes in perfectly with each other, and it's always like this entire story. Usually on his albums, every song would be so very specifically its own song, and something really new, and nothing would really sound alike. sometimes a theme would come back, but usually it was complete diversity. And with this last album, in my opinion, he didn't really pull this off again. It was more of a repetition. Like, it was divided in 4 different parts, and every part was just, well, really much the same to me. Which, well, like I said, I was a little disappointed. However, still quite fucking happy with the results, because, well, the tracks are still fucking awesome. It's just not as diverse as we're used to. Now, another thing that kind of failed to deliver what it could have delivered was the collaboration between Volbeat and King Diamond on the new Volbeat album. What is it? Gentlemen and Outlaws? Outlaw, Gentlemen and Shady Ladies. That's it. So yeah, King Diamond did a song with Volbeat, Room 24, and it felt fucking awkward. Really. Because I was expecting something like, well, the usual Volbeat sound with a King Diamond voice, but actually it was kind of the other way around. It was a King Diamond sounding track with like really, really gloomy notes, and it almost sounded a bit like that Black Sabbath song, Black Sabbath. Like a down, 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 and I was like, no, just don't. Like, if you are the band Volbeat and you're going to ask King Diamond, oi mate, do you want to sing a track with us? Then don't write a King Diamond kind of song. Write your own kind of song and have King Diamond sing with it. Because King Diamond isn't joining you to sing a song like he always does. He's joining you to do something new, you know. Or at least that's my opinion on it. So yeah, that really disappointed me. Because when I saw like the track list on the album and it had like King Diamond next to it, I was like, fuck, that's gonna be cool. And, you know, while listening to it, I just felt, well, like I said, awkward as fuck. Moving on to nicer things though, Gamma Bomb's Terror Tapes fucking blew me away. I've been loving Gamma Bomb ever since a friend of mine had this anthem song, Put On Your Bullet Belt, Sonic Death, Your Face Will Melt. That one, I think it's called Bullet Belt, but some people say it's called something else, but, well, Gamma Bomb, Bullet Belt. You know, that song made an impression on me, a gigantic impression on me about, what was it, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. It was like one of the reasons I really badly wanted to become a thrasher. Just because of the attitude in that song, it made me want to be like that. And, They've kind of been doing that really generic thrash kind of thing for a really long time, and suddenly they put out Terror Tapes, and Jesus Christ, I was fucking surprised, because first of all, the vocalist's sound is completely fucking different, and it's like, it's almost joking, but in the most fucking awesome way possible. And I'm not sure how completely serious they were about this, because you notice with a lot of thrash bands that they start taking their music a little less serious, and it's more gonna be about how much fun can you be, or how partying can you be, or how weird and twisted are your lyrics, and it's not really about the music itself anymore, which, you know, it's not a bad thing, but it's a different thing. But with the Terror Tapes, they've done something really fucking impressive, because they've kept up this entire weird lyrics kind of thing, and this jokish feeling and jokish sound, like, don't take anything so fucking serious, but still, they made it just fucking awesome music. And I'm just going to put links wherever the links can be put, and I'm really advising you to check out Gamma Bomb's Terror Tapes if you haven't heard it yet. Even if you're not really a thrash fan, or if you're not specifically a Gamma Bomb fan, just give it a fucking shot, because it's really fucking awesome. Now, another band that once again did not fail me was Toxic Holocaust. And Toxic Holocaust is one of those other bands I really love. And Toxic Holocaust is just the perfect combination of thrash and this really raw, don't give a fuck rock and roll kind of attitude. And what I just said about, you know, the music not, at least with some thrash bands, music not really being about the music anymore, but more about the entire picture, you know. Toxic Holocaust kind of does this. But like I already said when I mentioned it earlier, it's not something I dislike or anything, and Toxic Holocaust is a perfect example of why you have no reason to dislike it, because the band is so much fucking fun, even though half of the music they make isn't that fucking impressive, or it's not like, holy shit, what the fuck are they doing there, or whoa, it's so fucking original and it has nothing to do with whatever they did in the past. Their entire don't give a shit type of attitude is also the feeling I get when listening to it. Like, why the fuck would I give a fuck? I enjoy listening to this, even though it's been done 5 billion times before, and like the video clip they've made has been done 1 billion times before, and everything is copied from something somewhere, but don't give a fuck. And while we're on the subject of let's not give a fuck about something, let's talk about Avenged Sevenfold for a minute. Please. I'm gonna try my very best to not make this turn into a rant, but when I heard the new Avenged Sevenfold album, I was like, dude, this is fucking cool. And I honestly posted it like on Facebook, on my Patches Metal Facebook page, like, guys, I just heard the new Avenged Sevenfold, Hail to the King, and to me it sounds fucking awesome. And I got like some reactions of people saying like, oh dude, thank God someone else agrees with me, and some people being like, meh, I don't really agree with you, but okay, whatever. And then there were those people, again, as always, who asked me, why? And I was like, dude, I just completely explained it. Like, I just said, alright guys, it sounds fucking awesome and it sounds really rocky. And I even made a fucking episode about it. Talking about like, yeah, it sounds like... I'm not even gonna fucking explain it again. Just watch the bloody episode if you're still wondering why I like the Avenged Sevenfold. But just the question, why do you like this, is starting to get so fucking annoying. Why is the sky blue? Why is my name Casper? Why do we have 10 fingers? It's because it is so. And if I like something, then I like something. And there shouldn't really be a why tied to it. Like, alright, if you're like honestly looking for my explanation of like, oh, what parts of the song did you like, or what aspect of the music did you like, or even something like, why do you like this but not like that, things that sound alike, and you want to basically inform about something, but really questioning my opinion as in, you've got to be wrong, why the fuck would you like that? I'm like, fucking piss off, seriously. Now, we all remember the gigantic failure of 2013, which has to be Megadeth's Super Collider. I already made a video about that one as well, probably seen it. If you haven't, go check it out. It's fucking disgraceful. Seriously, I'm not going to even talk about it for a very long time, but I'm just going to say, Megadeth, what the fuck. However, Black Sabbath was there with their 13 album to completely make up for it, because really, they just completely resurrected what they used to be. And to me, Ozzy had been very disappointing, especially live. I've seen him over the last 2 years. I've seen him about 2 times, I think, live now. And both times were just quite weak, to be really honest. It was just, well, another disappointment. Just seeing like a really old man standing up on that stage, being like, I can't hear you guys, I can't hear you, and me at some point starting to even taking him serious. Like, dude, can you really not hear us? Like 100,000 people screaming there like, fuck yeah! So, yeah, Ozzy Osbourne had been a really big disappointment to me, and then they released 13, and it made everything right again, because you can hear that they still have it. They can still do it, and they've proven it. So I'm probably going to say that Black Sabbath is no longer a band you should watch live. Personal opinion, because to me it just plain sucked. But CD wise, fuck yeah, they're at it again, and it's sounding fucking amazing. So big fucking ups to Black Sabbath with the 13 album. Now, possibly one of the greatest releases this year was Darkthrone's Underground Resistance, and I'm not even gonna talk about it a lot. Just, you know, if you hear it, you know why I love it. And if you love the stuff I love, then you're probably gonna love it as well if you haven't heard it yet. So go check it out, link will be in the description below. To me, well, it's not the best album of 2013, but it comes really fucking close. Now, to address a few events of 2013, I'm gonna start out with something that happened halfway through December 2012. I still want to mention it just because it kind of meant something to me. Suicide Silence vocalist Mitch Lucker passed away. And I know a lot of you guys hate Suicide Silence. I know a lot of you guys dislike the music genre Suicide Silence plays, but in general they were really awesome guys. And to me it meant something personally, because Suicide Silence was the first major band that my band was allowed to open for. Here in a show in Haarlem, we were asked by one of the stage managers of Patronaat, like, guys, got some awesome news for you. We'd love you guys to open for Suicide Silence. And we were like, holy fucking shit. It was probably the biggest step in our career at that moment. So they were also the first musicians, the first real professional musicians we met in a backstage. You know, chatting up with them. You're like, well, dudes, where are you going next, and where did you come from, and you know, how's the tour going and stuff. And they were just really fucking awesome about it. And one of the coolest things that was that, like, at the end of the evening, we were having a really cool time, and we were like, dude, would you like to go with us to the local metal pub? And they were like, yeah, that should be awesome, you know, let's go for a couple of beers. And their tour manager came up to them and was like, no guys, we're not gonna do that, we gotta be in France tomorrow morning. And you could just see the disappointment in their eyes, you know, like, fuck yeah, okay, we gotta go, you guys. And it was just, for me, somewhat of a reality check. Like, musicians aren't really that much of the extreme party hard stuff you hear about all the time and read about all the time, but there's also this aspect of being a musician and just having to follow your tour schedules, taking orders from tour managers, taking orders from stage managers at venues and stuff. And yeah, you know, those guys were just special to me in that way, that they were the way for me to see, okay, so if I am really going to pursue my dreams in music, and if it's really going to go the way I hope it will go, I'm going to end up like this. I'm going to end up in the backstage of some venue with some guys being like, yo dude, let's go for a party, and us being like, yeah, we'd love to, but we gotta be at the other side of the country tomorrow. So yeah, when he passed away, it was only a few months later, because I think our gig with Suicide Silence was around October. Yeah, I think it was October when we played with them, and then, you know, 1.5 months later you read Mitch Lucker died. So yeah, that was just another reality shock, actually. To me personally, it was like, okay, so you know, you can be that kind of guy. The exact picture I just explained, like, having to follow all these rules, still being one of the, well, in their genre, one of the best bands in the world. And it can all, you know, be over in a second. And you always hear people talking about this, like when someone dies, like, oh yeah, it makes you realize how close to death we are all the time, and how easily we can leave this world and stuff. And, you know, usually that annoys me, but in this case, it just felt different to me. And probably a lot of you guys are gonna think like, dude, you're doing the exact same story as everyone is doing all the fucking time when someone dies. Oh, it can all be over so fucking quickly. But yeah, it felt somewhat special to me. So yeah, now another death in the metal community was Jeff Hanneman. Of course, no one's going to forget about Jeff Hanneman this year. And to put it very shortly, to me, Jeff Hanneman was Slayer. At least was the only one really left of Slayer. Being, truly being himself. I'm not going to talk about it a lot here. I'm just going to post a link to the video I already made about him. So you can, check it out if you want to know my opinion on, well, of course, Jeff Hanneman, but also Slayer on its own as a band, because I really address a lot in that video. And yeah, you can just check it out over there. Now, Randy Blythe got out of jail, Ian Watkins went to jail, Mega Lols, and Tim Lambesis, SLA Dying Guy, also went to jail, and all with legit reasons. And now to address some things people have been asking me to address. First of all, someone asked me to listen to Ectomorph, so I listened to Ectomorph, and I'm just gonna have to be honest, obviously. I didn't really like it. Sorry. But yeah, it was too much repetition. Nothing really that stood out to me. Nothing that, caught me by the throat and was like, keep fucking listening. But it was more like, yeah. Constant same riff over again and over again. So yeah, sorry. Now, another band I was asked to listen to was Bellacore. And it's a mellow death band, and it's the same problem I have with just about every other mellow death band, is that, I'm once again going to say this, it all sounds so much the same to me. And again, nothing that really, pulled me into it. And it's not that I didn't like it for any specific reason. It's just that there was no specific reason to do like it, if I'm making any sense at all. So yeah, that was my kind of issue with Bellacore, my opinion on Bellacore. It's alright, but it's nothing more than alright. However, for this part of the video I'm going to leave it at this, mainly because, again, as always, I'm slowly running out of time. And yeah, the second part of this video, which I have already filmed previously, is about everything that happened to me in my personal life, my personal experiences throughout 2013. The reason I started Patches, the reason I didn't have time for Patches anymore, the reason I did have so much time for Patches in the beginnings, and a lot of other stuff. That's all in part 2 of this video. Right now I am going to film part 3 of the video, which is going to be about my personal note to you guys, to put it like that. It's going to have specific thanks to specific people. It's going to have a massive thank you to everyone. In general, it's going to include all my plans for the upcoming year. So yeah, if you're not interested in the second part of this video, I can understand it if you don't want to know everything about my personal life and what has been going on. But I definitely just want to ask everyone to watch the third part of this video. Going to be links everywhere and stuff, so it'll be easy to find that one. And yeah, I'll just love to see you guys in the second or the third part of this video, and of course in 2014 again as well. So I'll see you guys there.
1, 2, 3, 4.